Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And Hudco. And Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, y'all. Welcome. What a Super Bowl we had. The first half was a total snooze fest. I mean, just a boring mess of a first half. But the game ended up being pretty dramatic and really fun and all that jazz. So neato, gang. Chiefs win in overtime, 25-22. A pretty dramatic. Drew's awake. By the way, we had a heck of a night that I got to tell you all about. So that's coming up here in a sec. Hang on one sec. Oh, I got to do that. Let's see. Boom. Okay. Chiefs win Super Bowl 58 in overtime, 25-22. What a dramatic game. First half was absolutely atrocious. It was a really, really rough watch. It went to half 10-3. McCaffrey fumbled on the first drive. The Chiefs looked like they were getting going. Pacheco fumbled at the 8-yard line. You went to half 10-3. The game really opened up for Kansas City on the muffed punt. If you want to call it a muffed punt, it was the punt just hit a San Francisco coverage man in the foot. Kansas City recovered one play later. They're in the end zone. Took their first lead. The Niners would go answer with a score, but they would have the PAT blocked, which of course kept it a 3-point game. And with a chance to win in regulation, the Chiefs stalled out in the red zone, kicked a short field goal to tie it and send it to overtime. I think we all got a lesson in overtime, the new overtime rules now, right? We all got a lesson in the new overtime rules, which are that both teams get a chance to possess the football no matter what. So even if the Niners had scored a touchdown on their first possession, Kansas City still would have had an opportunity. The other thing that I thought was really interesting was so they were nearing the end of the overtime period when Kansas City was down near the goal line, and they ended up scoring the what was the game-winning touchdown with 3 seconds left. And so I had to go look this up because I was like, what if they had run out of time? Like, what would have happened? So because it was Kansas City's first possession of overtime, they would have just played a second period. So the game would have just continued. I assume they would have swapped ends of the field like you would at the end of a quarter, but basically that's how it would have been handled, like the end of a quarter break. So they would have just continued playing in a new overtime period. So even if they hadn't gotten that playoff, it would have just been like it was at the end of a quarter instead of like the end of the game. So the game would not have ended right there had they run out of time because it was still Kansas City's first possession of overtime. What a strange sequence. We all kind of learned it together, didn't we? So in any event, wanted to real quick, if you'll allow me, just the quick opportunity. Sorry. There it is. Boom. Whoop, that's not what I wanted at all. I'm sorry, y'all. There we go. That's not what I want. Sorry. I'm learning. Still learning all the toys here. My apologies. So, in any event, I wanted to put this on here because there was obviously a huge hailstorm last night all over the state of Louisiana. So if you do have hail damage, or if you had hail, or all that heavy rain, and really all of Louisiana was subjected to it last night, give us a shout today. Um, our Baton Rouge number, of course, is 364-1007, 364-1007, or you go to hudcoroofing.com, hudcoroofing.com. So would love it if you give us a shout. Would love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. We're ready to roll. So again, give us a shout, 364-1007 or hudcoroofing.com. I'm going to go ahead and pin Go ahead and pin Hudco there on the YouTube chat. Okay. All right. Let's say some good morning, see what y'all got. Sorry, a little clunky here as I get started. Was figuring out the new I'm still figuring out a lot of the stuff, right? The scroll and the how to put the comments there and all that sort of stuff. Okay. All right, let's say some good mornings. Jacob Thompson, James McKinney, Tim Gotro, William Moore, good morning. Let's see. Hunter Broadhead said, Matt, good morning. Can't believe Debo didn't get over the 4.5 receptions. He had like 12 targets. That was a surprise. Debo ended up with 3 receptions for 33 yards, and he was targeted 11 times. So that was surprising. We also did not hit on, we had Jawan Jennings under 1.5 receptions. He had 4. We hit on Brandon Ayuk under receiving yards. We did not hit Kittle over receiving yards. We did hit Mahomes over rushing yards. So we did okay there with our props. But again, props you should take is all my props I bet is quarter units. They were just to have some fun. Um, the Where I went heavy on, I had Chiefs money line, which hit obviously. And then I had a teaser bet with the Chiefs and the over. So for those who don't know, a teaser is essentially like an alternate line parlay. So I tease, and so you combine the bets at a better odd of winning, but because you're combining bets like a parlay, it's going to bring it back to like a normal bet. It gives you a better chance of winning. So I teased the Chiefs to 7.5. So I had the Chiefs plus 7.5 in a teaser bet. And I linked it up with the over. So I teased the number down to 41. So I had to go over 41, which we did in overtime. So that hit as well. So if you just played the under of the game, you hit that too. So JB Johnson, baby Bobby. All right, baby Bobby made $540 last night. That a boy. It's a good way to start your week. Now cash out, right? Because if you keep it in your account and you keep playing with it, then you didn't actually make that money. You didn't actually make the money until you realized that victory and cash out. Let's see. Brett Gidry, Tigers play baseball this week. I watched T-Bob go nuts on OTB after the title game to get me hype. T-Bob went nuts last night as well. Cliff Nelson, morning Uncle Scone. Great time last night at Don Juan, LFG, Team Drew. Yeah, man. Great to see you as always, Cliff. Appreciate you for coming out, man. We did have a good night. First time we've done a companion show for Super Bowl at Don Juan. We did Super Bowl companion show years ago. You know what? It was the Rams Patriots Super Bowl. We did it in the studio though, and we've done draft companion show for a lot of years now. Last couple of years at Don Juan, we've done it in studio too. But last night was good. We appreciate you for coming as always, my dude. Let's see. Christian said, "Morning, Matt. Is Shanahan the biggest Super Bowl choke artist ever? 0-3, all 3 losses after having a lead. Um, yeah, I could say the Buffalo Bills losing 4 straight, but Kyle Shanahan, and it's not just having the lead, man. Obviously, he was the OC of the Falcons when they blew the 28-3 lead. Um, in Super Bowl 54, when they lost to the Chiefs, that was the 2019 season. They led by 10 with 7 minutes to go. And then, obviously last night they led by 10 in the first half. But man, hoo hoo hoo. Taylor Hudson, morning Matt. Pretty boring first half. Turned out to be a great game. Feel like officiating stayed out of the way, mostly nothing egregious. Taylor, I would largely agree, except for the defensive holding call in overtime. Um, the Chiefs would have been 3 and out to start overtime. Or the Chiefs would have forced a 3 and out to start overtime. And they called holding on L'Jarius Sneed, which obviously that drive continued, and the Chiefs uh, ended up holding the Niners to a field goal. But that was one. They also called, was it McDuffie or Sneed? I think maybe McDuffie was the one who was called for the holding. Either way, then they called another one for the helmet slap on it, which I mean, I guess technically that's a penalty. I just hate that. Like, anyway. James Avery, good afternoon, Matt. Well, it's morning, but a game was good. Whiskey and wine was better. Thank you. Giovanni Martinez, Brock Purdy isn't the guy. Um, I think Brock Purdy is good enough for that team, right? Um, I think he can manage that team, and he made some nice throws. Now, he was also pressured a lot last night. That's the one that I was surprised didn't hit, was the sack total. As much as the Chiefs pressured Brock Purdy last night, they only got 1 sack, but 11 quarterback hits and 6 passes defensed. I mean, the 11 quarterback hits and only 1 sack was surprising. We had over 2.5 sacks for the Chiefs, so that one did not hit either. That one surprised me, considering how much Purdy was under duress for most of the night. Bailey C, tired of San Francisco in the Super Bowl, go away. Hey, Dad, good morning. Kelly Gross, good morning. Bubba Smith, good morning. Tier 1 Solutions 28, why are the Chiefs so painful to watch? I don't know. What do you mean? Because you mean like it's just you're tired of seeing the same team win all the time? I mean, I was very much for the Chiefs in that ball game. Um, I was very, very much I was more so against San Francisco because I hate the 49ers. As you all know, we've talked about that plenty. But um I don't know. I mean, dynasties don't necessarily bother me. Like the Patriots winning all those years didn't bother me. I appreciated watching greatness. Like I didn't get to see the Steelers of the 70s. So, I mean, unless if it's a team that directly impacts my mental state like Alabama, um, the 49ers in the 80s and the 90s, I don't mind, you know, the only teams that I've loved that have gone on dynastic runs like that was LSU baseball, obviously 5 and 10 years, and the Yankees. Um, watching the Yankees win in 96, 90, and then three-peat 99, 2000. Um, the 4 and 5 years, but that's the closest thing I've seen to where I've been able to cheer for a dynasty. I don't know, it doesn't bother, like, greatness is fun to watch, man. It's you realize you get to see something that people are gonna talk about forever. Uh Let's see, JB Johnson, 49ers lost in demoralizing fashion. LSU's women look like the Showtime Lakers against Bama. It was a solid day, I'd say. Uh, Chris P, good morning. Michael Cook, good morning. Uh, Devin, It's only Purdy's second year, first full year starting. If you're trying to say he's not the guy who jumped the gun, he wasn't the reason they lost. He played well. I think I think the thing, Devin, about Purdy is the criticism. It's not that it's his fault that they lost. Like he didn't make egregious errors, fumbles, interceptions, all that sort of stuff. He did miss a couple of open throws, but he made some really nice throws too. I think it's the very common criticism of like game manager, right? Like he's not going to lose the game for you, but he's also not going to win the game for you. Um, Cliff said, "I'm no Frisco fan. How did Purdy show you he isn't the guy? He played well." Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the point. Like, I don't know that you would look at him and say like his performance cost them the game, but okay. Flip side, when nothing was working for Kansas City, what were the plays that got them moving? Mahomes with his feet, the third down run on the zone read, the long run, the 4th and 1 where Mahomes kept it on his own read. Like, Patrick Mahomes made the play like, the third down play on 3rd and 4 where he lowered his shoulder and trucked 2 guys to get the first down. I mean, those were, like, gotta have it plays, and he made them with his feet, like, "Bleep it, I got it." And I think that's probably the difference is you could look at Mahomes and say, Mahomes is the reason Kansas City won. When their defense was great, you know. Spencer Glenn Beckley Jr., good morning. Paul Dykes, good morning. Matt and Drew, freshly back from Monroe. Devin Kelly, T-Bob singing Oasis and Bartender last night was classic. So T-Bob sent, I don't know if you know this, Devin, or if you've seen this video, but there's a video on the internet, that eh, uh, Savage Garden, Truly Madly Deeply. The I wanna stand with you on the mountain. You know that song. I wanna bathe with you in the sea. Well, there's like all these British guys at a bar singing that together. And it's like T-Bob's dream to have us do that for whiskey and wine, like have the whole bar singing that song. So that's what he was singing last night at the end. But and then somehow uh that evolved into Oasis. And then I started singing Don't Look Back in Anger. But anyway, the whiskey and wine. It's generally a time. Abner Neal, good morning. Chris P. Well, Matt, it wasn't 70 to 40, but 70 to negative 40, but the Chiefs won. Spencer asked, did you hit? Went through a little bit. I had Chiefs money line, which hit. I had a teaser bet with the Chiefs and the over, which hit. I hit with Mahomes rushing yards over. I think my props maybe went like I think it was only like 2 and 4 on my prop bets. So I lost on my prop bets. But again, I was only doing like quarter units. So for those who don't know, if in sports betting terms, a unit is like your average bet. So let's say you bet on average a unit is $20, right? Just hypothetically. So if you bet $20, that's a unit, which you normally bet per game. Um, on a prop bet, if I was betting quarter units, I would have bet $5, right, per prop bet. Well, on the money line and my teaser bet, all this stuff, I bet either full unit or more than full units. So you can lose some of those props and not be devastating because you're betting so many of them, right? They're more just fun things to do and to follow during the game. Let's see. Michael Richard, good morning. Matt, let's see. There was really too much of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Almost made me sick. Michael Richard from the Best Bank. Why did that make you sick, Michael? I'm going to push back on you, man. I don't get, I don't get at all the hate for that, man. Um, God bless her. She, like, if there's anyone in the world who could have had an excuse not to be there, she's playing in Tokyo 4 straight nights, flies halfway around the world, gets some sleep, goes to the Super Bowl to watch her boyfriend. Um, I think uh, she has never tried to draw attention to herself. When she goes to the games, she enters a private entrance. She's never putting stuff on her social media of her showing up. It's always people videoing her and putting it on their social media. And every time she's on a camera, she's always very pleasant. She's never putting her hands up or telling people to get away. She's always waving to people, and telling them hello, being very polite. People in the crowd that are videoing her, she's always waving and interacting with them. Like I don't on the field, she was like, if you've seen the shots of the video when Travis came off the stage, he went to his mom first. She just very patiently waited, and then, they hugged and kissed like anybody in a relationship would do after you win the Super Bowl. Like, I don't it's people have held her to such a and them to such a different standard, for how they would normally handle a situation. Like, if that wasn't Taylor Swift and that was just Travis Kelce's girlfriend, um, Taylor Smith, like, would anybody have been saying anything about them kissing on the field and hugging or him showing their family? I just don't get it, man. I don't understand why there's so much hate. And people are, there's too much of it. Too much. Like, they probably showed her maybe 10 times during the entire 4-hour broadcast, maybe 10 times during the game. I mean, they're probably not even 10 times during the game. Anyway, I don't get it. Good for them. Um, I think she's I think she's handled everything perfectly fine. Like, she has never done anything with the intention of drawing attention to herself. So people want to put her on TV, put her on TV. Most famous person in the world at a football game. Yeah. I mean, I think Cowherd said it. How is that any different than people get excited to see Jack Nicholson at a Laker game or Spike Lee at a Knicks game or any of the other celebrity fans that attend games and you cheer when they put them on camera in arena or on TV? Like, why aren't you disgusted by any of that stuff? I don't get it. Like, I don't get the where that's rooted. Like, why people have a problem with them showing Taylor Swift. Yet you don't. I mean, I was watching the game yesterday and I saw they showed Paul Rudd on TV. They showed who's the other celebrity they showed? Oh, they showed Wayne Newton. Were you upset that they showed Wayne Newton in the crowd? I mean, come on. And I'm not going off on you, Michael. It's just the general feeling that people have about that whole situation. I just don't get why people are that way. Anyway, all right. As always, brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing. Yeah, we had awful weather yesterday, and it was all over the state. There was quarter-size hail all over the place. We're getting calls already this morning. So if you had that high wind, heavy rain, hail, give us a shout. That phone number on the screen right there, 364-1007, that rings our Baton Rouge office, and it forwards to like 4 people's cell phone as well. So you're certainly going to get somebody on the phone. So give us a shout, or you go to hudcoroofing.com. I have the Hudco link pinned in the YouTube chat. So hudcoroofing.com. Just let them know. Just it'll say like, how'd you hear about us? Just put Morning Scone or Muscone or something like that, and we'll bump you to the top. All right, let's see. Ryan Stadler, morning, Matt. What a game! Thank goodness it's morning. It's a good morning. Fisherman said, yeah, it was McDuffie called for the hole. Yeah, my bad. I thought, was Snead the one? Did Snead get the personal foul for Drew? Drew, no, Drew. Hey, after Dad, come see Daddy. You're clamped. Come see. Get dressed. And then later we'll go wake up mommy, okay? Somebody, you want to sit on Daddy's lap? No. You want to say hi to Dad show? No. You want to say hi to Dad show? No. Somebody slept for 3 hours last night. Total. Drew gets a lot of neuromeds, and as a result, those make him wired. And so he gets meds at night to make him sleep. He gets clonidine, and we split the dose. We give it to him like at 10 o'clock to make him fall asleep. And then we set an alarm, and one of us wakes up every day at 1:30 in the morning to give him the other dose through his tube. And long story short, we ran out before they filled the new dose, and so he slept a total of 3 hours. I mean, but 12:30 last night, he was bouncing up in his bed. We put him in our bed, and he might have slept 1 more hour. Finally, at 5:30, I went into the guest room and slept for about an hour and a half. Um, ugh. And Erica's like sleeping. I was like, babe, just sleep. I'll figure out my day. Just get some rest. So, oof, not a great overnight in the Scone household. Yeah, Devin said, what would have happened if the clock hit 0 in overtime? It was still tied. So, Devin, I did talk about that right as we started the show. It's a good question. I'm glad you brought it back up. So, I had to go look this up. So, if i- because it was Kansas City's first possession of it, so in the Super Bowl, the new rule is both teams get a possession regardless. So, even if San Francisco had scored a touchdown, Kansas City still would have gotten a possession. If the overtime period would have expired, they would have just continued playing a new period because that was still Kansas City's first possession of overtime. So they get their full possession. So it would have just been like a quarter change. Like I guess they just would have gone to the other end of the field and started a new overtime period is what they would have done. Yeah, so I know a lot of people freaking out like there's 3 seconds, like what's gonna happen? Is the game gonna end with them? No, no, so they still had their possession. I had to go look it up. Bob Poole. Um, Good morning, Bob. Let's see. YMVRR. Purdy's the guy. Mahomes is much better. Southern Extreme. What's going on, man? Bruce Tate. Look forward to HUD assessing my roof today. We're doing business with someone we know. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it, man. Very, very much. Yeah, there's the number right there on the screen. We'd love it if you give us a call. 364-1007. We got crews out and about. Get after a night like last. We had a pretty significant hail event yesterday, y'all. Last night was, I mean, there were tornado warnings all over the place. There was hail and wind. I mean, those are the kind of rain. Our phones ring when it rains. We have a night like last night. It's pretty severe. So, y'all give us a shout. We'd love to help you out. 364-1007. Call the number, or you can go to the website, hoodcoroofing.com. Just make sure you note Morning Scone or Scone. Just note me or whatever on there, and I'll make sure that we get you front of the list. Jeff McKithen, good morning. What up, my dude? Jason Walker, good morning. Chiefs are painful to watch because it's so stagey. The swift camera cuts, Kelce's behavior. I think the entire production is set up for them. Oh, God. All right. I'm just annoyed by that. I'm going to ignore you. Chuck Sanchez. What up, Chuck? Get it? Up, Chuck? Mario Collada with a baseball question. What up, Mario? Who's the weekend rotation for baseball? Jay hasn't announced, but I think it's this week. It'll be Hurd, Holman, Jump. I think that'll be your Friday, Saturday, Sunday this weekend. Devin said Purdy won the NFC Championship game. Dude took off running, made all the throws, complete the comeback. I'm with you, but they were also down 17 at home in that game, and their offense didn't do muckety muck until the fourth quarter. So I'm with you. Look, man, I get it. He's a good player. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I also think San Francisco got the best roster in the NFL, and so naturally, when you have a roster, when you're the quarterback of a team with a roster that good, you're not going to get as much of the praise or credit or whatever you want. And maybe part of that is because of where he was drafted. I'm sure some of it is part of where he was drafted. But the other part of it too, right, wrong, or indifferent is like I saw Jimmy Garoppolo lead that team to a Super Bowl, and Jimmy Garoppolo stinks. So if I put Brock Purdy on the Jets, are the Jets any, or put Brock Purdy on the Raiders, are the Raiders any good because Brock Purdy's there? I don't think so. If I put Patrick Mahomes on the Raiders, I think the Raiders become a contender within 2 years. Let's see. State 99 match. Should the NFL move the draft before free agency like the NBA so teams can take best available instead of need? Nope. I like it the way it is. Irfan Sayad, good morning. Happy Lundy Gras. Bubba Tatum, good morning from the Magic Kingdom. Mickey Mouse says, don't bet against Mahomes. Going to try to catch the parade with him this afternoon. The parade is today. Oh, gosh. I didn't realize. Man, so they're flying from Vegas to Orlando already for today, huh? My niece is down. Sophia, well, actually, Sophia, Olivia, Reese, Jennifer, Lauren, they're all down there for the cheer competition. So, by the way, Sophia, who you all have met many times here, Sophia, they made the finals for their cheer competition down at Universal. So it's like I think they're one of like 5 teams in the finals. So pretty cool for them. J.R. Purdy missed some key throws, made some key throws too. And I think the two most like he had 2 open receivers on different spots in the end zone, and his misses weren't his fault. It was because Chris Jones was hitting him as he was throwing the football, which is a credit to Chris Jones and the Chiefs. Cajun Country, happy for Clyde. If he retires, he goes out on the top, gets his pension from the NFL. I don't think Clyde's going to retire, but yes, great to see Clyde Rowe get another one. So it's back-to-back Super Bowls now for Clyde. Um, State championship, national champion, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and all-around great dude. Lonnie Huval, good morning from Galveston, boarding a cruise ship this morning. By the way, Lonnie, you might be aboard a cruise ship with Mr. Toby Tomplay, who I was told we were texting yesterday. He and his family were going on a cruise out of Galveston today too. So I wonder if y'all will be on the same ship. Interesting. Let's see. Cajun Country. Any chance the Saints could pay Jason Kelce $30 million for 1 year just to bolster the O line for a year? No, and the thing too is, the strongest position you have on the offensive line is center. Eric McCoy's your best offensive lineman and has been your best offensive lineman. So, and I don't think you're paying a center $30 million. So Jason Kelce is the highest paid center in the NFL at $14.5 million. So you're basically telling me that you want to double the annual salary for a 36-year-old center. Probably not going to be okay with that. Please smash the like button there on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Brian Wynn, what's going on, man? Fisherman, good morning. Sports always show stars. They do. Like that's why I don't understand why people have such a big issue with the Swift stuff. Craig Duke is Muso always at Vulgar After Hours. Listened to him a zillion times. Never remember him having a potty mouth. It's well, but you probably heard him on radio. I don't think you ever heard him on Whiskey and Wine or on anything like that. A stream like that where there is no censorship. Craig Dubga, how about the pearly whites on Wayne Newton? It's blinding, very unnatural for teeth. Craig Duncan, so happy the rigged league is over now. Thank gosh baseball is here. You know, Craig, I don't know if you're serious, but it's just such a stupid thing to say. Like, I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm just saying, like, to say that you think the NFL is rigged is just so stupid. Like, so you think the NFL is rigged, but other sports are not. You're happy baseball's here, but baseball's not rigged, right? The NFL is rigged, but it's the only sport that's rigged, the NFL. So you have 53, 106 guys out on the field, coaches, game week prep. God bless Dre Greenlaw last night. Ruptures his Achilles running onto the field. I guess that was rigged too. They rigged Dre Greenlaw's ruptured Achilles as he's running onto the field to take an important defender away from San Francisco so Kansas City could win, right? It was all scripted the way it was going to go down. They scripted a blocked PAT. They scripted a 57-yard field goal that was tipped and still went through. They scripted that, right? It's so stupid. It's just so stupid. Like, it's scripted, it's rigged. It's just so stupid. Like, it's nonsensical. There is no logical basis for what you're saying. It's just so dumb. Brian Wynn, Matt, what are you paying Drew in NIL money? Brian, like any parent could attest, everything he has. Lance Hill just said, wow. Rick Manuel, Mahomes is living a career that appears to be a football version of Jordan. The difference is Jordan never lost in the finals. Same with Joe Montana. And Mahomes did lose a Super Bowl to Tom Brady. But 4 Super Bowls in 5 years, 3 titles in 5 years. Brady did this too. Remember, I mean, Brady won 3 pretty quickly. He won 3 in 5 years. And then it was 3 and 4 years because they won it. But so they won 01, 03, and 04. But then he didn't win again until 2014. He went a decade without winning. It was a decade between championships. So that's the real challenging thing there, right? So they got back to 2 more Super Bowls in 7 and 11 and lost the Giants, and then didn't win again until 14. So there was a lot of talk during that stretch like, are they done? Is the Patriots dynasty over? Will they ever win another one? And then they broke through again in 14, and then they wound up winning 3 and 5 years. So, I guess I'm just saying, like, don't just assume it goes like this forever because we would have thought the same for Brady in '04, and they didn't win another one for a decade. So, and Andy Reid ain't gonna be around for another decade. So how do the Chiefs, who's next in Kansas City whenever Reid does hang it up, I think is a fair question. James Avery, do you like the new OT rule? I like college OT. You think it would work in the NFL? I think college overtime is an absolute atrocity. Um, think about how important special teams were in that game last night. A punt that kicked off of a defender's heel, a punt down at the 1 yard line, a blocked PAT. You had 7 combined field goals in that game. I mean, think about field position and everything that matters in special teams. Kansas City muffed another punt, was able to recover it. Like college OT isn't football. It's situational football from the 25. You take the clock, out. You take uh, uh, special teams, the entire third phase out of the game. It just becomes a controlled scrimmage from the 25. It's stupid. College overtime is an atrocity. It's like shootouts. Is it exciting to see a shootout in hockey or in soccer? Yes, but you go play this entire game. I mean, that would be like the NBA deciding, like deciding a winner in overtime on a free throw shooting contest. Like, what? Oh, we're tired. Let's go to free throws. What? No, play the game. Um, Dale said, interesting OT. They played full 15-minute quarter with only one possession by each team. Dale, I think it's 10 minutes. Um, I think overtime in the NFL, they bumped it down to 10 minutes. Um, okay, no, you're right. Forgive me. Yeah, here it is. Unlike regular season overtime, which is 10 minutes, postseason overtime uses 15-minute quarters. Played like a whole new game. Includes halftime as the game is tied after the second overtime, which has never happened in NFL history. That would have been interesting if we would have seen another halftime. Um, but yeah, well, I mean, the Niners' first possession ended up being like 13 plays. I mean, it looked like they were going to go 3 and out. They got the holding call, and then it ended up eating up for the whole quarter. Steve Menard, good morning. Neville Lewis, good morning. Bearded Dragon, morning, Matt. How long do you think it'll take for Kubiak to be announced as the OC? Today. I mean, I don't see any reason why you'd wait on that. JB Johnson, I've heard LSU will be pursuing another running back or two in the portal after spring, along with defensive needs. Any thoughts on potential backfield needs for LSU? Didn't know we were thin there. JB, I haven't heard that. I guess I could kind of understand it, but because you lost so many guys, but you had too many last year. So I wouldn't put running back as a need in any way. You got Josh Williams coming back. You've got obviously Logan Diggs left for Ole Miss, and Diggs suffered a pretty serious injury in the bowl game too. So I don't know when he'll be available for Ole Miss and at what ability. But with Caleb Jackson, Trey Holly, along with Josh Williams, and then the running back you just signed, the freshman. That's 4 scholarship backs. I guess you could take one more if there's a good player, veteran player you feel can mix in. I mean, you lose a lot, right? I mean, you lose John Emery and Noah Kane. I mean, Emery was injured, but and then 2 other guys, Ramani Goodwin and Trey Bradford, both transferred out along with Diggs. So you lose a bunch of guys, but you had more than you needed. So that's definitely not the spot where I'm worried. Jim Arsenault, good morning. Kermit the Frog. All sports are rigged. It's all about the money. At the end of the day, you can't pay a ref to be impartial to his favorite team. All sports are rigged. Thanks, Kermit. Great to see you. Joe Parker, Matt, if time had run out in the first overtime, untied was the Super Bowl. No, the Super Bowl was not over. Again, just to reiterate that, it would have been just like because it was Kansas City's first possession. So the Super Bowl, both teams get a possession regardless. So even if San Francisco had scored a touchdown, Kansas City would have gotten a possession. And if the time had run out, it would have just been like the end of the first quarter or the end of the fifth quarter. They would have just swapped into the fields and started the new quarter. So, which explains why Kansas City was not in any super duper rush to get up to the line to get that playoff because like that was the end of the game. We're like, hey, should you call timeout? What are you doing? David Jenkins, what's going on? Ryan Leslie share. It's crazy how quickly we watched one of the all-time great dynasties close, another begin so close to each other. We should appreciate great coaching, great quarterback play. I agree. People say or act as if they hate dynasties, but the reality is they always gain more attention. And it is fun to watch greatness. It's only not fun when it comes at your team's expense. Drew, no, Drew, come see Daddy. Come see Daddy. What you need, baby? What you need, sweetie?
Calm down.
Countdown to calm down. Thank you so much for asking so nicely. To calm down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He wants Daniel Tiger countdown to calm down. There you go. You see it? Good job. Thank you for asking so nicely. There you go. All right. Ooh, that is totally like washed out. Okay. All right. Please smash the like button if you're there on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Always brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. As we mention all the time, appreciate our friends over at Brock. They are the best. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. And HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. But I do have this banner up today primarily because we had such an awful hailstorm yesterday. So all that awful hail, rain, weather, if you had or think you might have roof damage, let us come give you a free no obligation roofing inspection. Just give us a shout. Phone number right there, the 225-364-1007, 364-1007, or HUDCOroofing.com. Just when it says like there's on the homepage of the website, there's a form to fill out. And when it says like, how did you hear about us? Just put Moscona, Morning Scone, AFR, Matt, just some notation there about me, and we'll make sure we get you top of the line today. Let's see. Tarn 35, college football, NFL showing fundamental football is still a winning formula. At its core, it's blocking, tackling, accurate kicking. What, buddy? Let's see where. I'm sorry, I lost my spot. Caden Durham, yes, thank you, JB. He said Caden Durham is the freshman running back that they just signed. Charlie H. Matt, did Ocho Cinco ever keep his part of the deal? Not yet. We did. So we communicated a couple of weeks ago. He said he was going to come in, and then I reached out a couple more times to try to solidify plans, and he didn't get back to me. But I understand it. Like it was championship week, and then the Super Bowl, and he's doing inside the NFL and traveling a bunch, which totally understand. So I plan to reach out to him again this week. Now that the Super Bowl's over and things have settled down, like I do plan to reach out to him this week to see when we can make this happen because sounds like he's good for it. I believe that he's good for it, and I want to make that happen and get Ocho down here. So we'll take care of him. I mean, we'll take care of all of his hotel and food and all that sort of stuff, whatever he needs while he's here. But we're going to take care of him. But we'll plan to get that done. Quentin Breakbill, Good morning, Quentin. Appreciate you for being there. Let's see. David Bass, what's up, Matt? If it was scripted, it was well scripted. Well done. Let's see. James Avery, the only other way to do it would keep playing like normal, no stipulations. I mean, like you could just play like a full overtime period, you know, um, or a full half or something like that. But I like what they did. I mean, each team is guaranteed a possession. Um, so that's fine. And if each team's guaranteed a possession, if there's no winner, then it becomes sudden death. And I'm okay with that. Each at least each the problem was you had these postseason situations where you had great quarterbacks that never even had an opportunity to touch the football, and that was a problem. So, like you're basically skewing the result of a game based on something that happens by chance, which is a coin flip. Um, I'll tell you one thing that should be scrutinized is Kyle Shanahan's decision to take the football because it's the same concept like in college overtime where you want to go on defense first so your offense knows what they have to do. I mean, Kyle Shanahan and the Niners probably should have gone on defense first in overtime instead of taking the football. So, I mean, I don't know if he was asked about it after. I'm sure he was asked about it, but I'm curious his thoughts on it and why they made the decision to take the football. Joe Parker had Les Moss flashbacks. Y'all are great parents with him. Thank you, man. Best job in the world, though, man. Love Charles Como, who dat? Michael Reese, good morning. Wendell Norman, good morning. Let's see. Rick Manuel, I'm interested to see the ratings from last night's game. Do you think it will break viewership record? I do, Rick, for all the reasons. I mean, first of all, the most viewed Super Bowl ever, the most watched Super Bowl ever was Super Bowl 50, 50, 51, the overtime game. So the other overtime game, the Falcons and the Patriots, for Super Bowl 51 is the most viewed Super Bowl ever because it went to overtime. So you have an audience build, and when people hear it's going overtime, or it was 28-3, and then the comeback, so people started tuning in. Oh my God, wait, you see what's happening? The comeback and then overtime. So that was the most watched Super Bowl ever. So this one, obviously, with all the factors, second Super Bowl ever to go to overtime. The Chiefs, Niners, two great NFL brands. Of course, the Taylor Swift element of it was absolutely going to add, a dimension. So yes, I fully believe that this is going to end up being the most viewed Super Bowl ever, the most watched television event ever in the U.S. And Brad Lang, morning, Matt. When we have a salary cap in college football like the NFL, only if they unionize, Brad. I don't think that, and I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't think that that should happen. I think revenue sharing is something we're going to see, which I think is going to have a ripple effect throughout college football. It's going to mean they will cancel, like they will ultimately end up just um, canceling other sports, some of the non-revenue sports. But I don't. The only way you'll end up with a salary cap is if they unionize. So, um, and I think that opens up a whole different can of worms that I don't think they should really be interested in that unintended consequence. So anyway, all right. Okay, y'all. I think we're just about done here. Thanks so much for tuning in. Um, Lundy Graw. I'm sure some of y'all are off of work. I'm doing a show today, so we'll get you LSU Daily and we'll get you mornings, or we'll get you AFR at 3. So we'll look forward to that. We're business as usual today and tomorrow. So um, Erica and Drew obviously are off for Mardi Gras week, so they're home. So I'm home with Drew this morning. But anyway, all right, y'all have an awesome day. If you're there, please smash the like button on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Facebook. Please like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Appreciate y'all. Trivia Carter, good to see you. Uh, Joe said, "How do you rate the Super Bowl crying out game?" Look, the first half was not fun at all to watch. The second half, got going a little bit. Um, Usher was good. So yeah, I enjoyed it. One more reminder, y'all, about HUDCO. With all the weather last night. I mean, it was atrocious last night. I got home and like I was looking out on the back patio, and it was like a waterfall coming off of our roof. It was raining so hard. Anyway, so heavy rain, wind, hail. Let us come give you that free no obligation roofing inspection. Give us a shout. Numbers right there on the screen: 364-1007, 364-1007, or HUDCOroofing.com. Okay, y'all have an awesome day. Thanks so much for watching. Peace. Oh, we went live on LinkedIn today too. I wonder if anybody's watching on LinkedIn. I forgot to mention that. This is the first time we ever went live. I didn't see a comment come through on LinkedIn. So I don't know if anybody's watching on LinkedIn, but we did go live on LinkedIn today as well. So first time ever. So anyway, all right, y'all have a great day. Peace.